Alright, so I know that the title is a bit of a grass is green, sky is blue, Exorbital is the best YouTuber ever type of take, you know? It's a take that nobody would disagree with you if you said it. Like, you could literally go into any Bee Swarm Simulator related community as of right now and say, macros suck, macros are ruining the game, and every single person would probably most likely agree with you. So then why am I making this video, you might be asking? And well, the reason for that is because I think people are a little bit confused about macros and what they do and how they're exactly affecting the game and how exactly they're ruining the game. Because I've been hearing a lot of discourse about macros and like the new updates that Onnit has been adding to the game, where he changed like the Riley B quests and the Buckle B quests and the Polar Bear quests and pretty much all the repeatable quests to be unmacroable. Well, they are still macroable, but they're only macroable if you're using Revolution macro. If you're using natural macro, these quests are not macroable anymore. Now, after Onnit changed these quests to be unmacroable, I've heard a lot of people joking about how, ooh, Bee Swarm Simulator players actually need to play their game now, oh no, what a travesty, right? And I was like, okay, that's a pretty funny joke, right? I mean, obviously nobody actually believes that that's what people are actually complaining about with this new Bee Swarm Simulator update, but that's a pretty funny joke, right? But then I heard that same comment being repeated again. And I was like, okay, that's a pretty funny joke. But obviously nobody actually believes that that's what this drama is about, right? Right? Am I right, guys? Nobody actually believes that this drama is just a bunch of macroers being upset that their favorite macro doesn't work anymore, right? Am I right to assume that? And then I heard the same joke again, and again, and again, like 10 fucking times over, and I was like, okay, holy shit, people actually believe that this whole drama is just about people being mad that they can't macro the game anymore. So I'm here to kind of like dispel these claims and like actually educate these little fucking Timmies that are in the community on what's actually happening and why exactly this update is horrendous for the game. Now, as we all know, pretty much every single new Bee Swarm Simulator update revolves around macros. The Planter update, the Puffshroom update, that revolved around macros. You need to macro in order to actually have your planters fully grow, because they take like fucking 12 hours to grow or something like that. And then the Endgame Tool update that brought us the Tide Popper, the Gummy Baller, and the Dark Scythe, those all needed to be macroed as well, because like, who the hell is getting like 1,500 colored extracts completely online without macroing a single second? I mean, that's just ridiculous, you know? So that was also designed around macros. Then we had the sticker update, which was probably the worst offender of them all, where you absolutely 100% have to macro if you want to get any sticker whatsoever, unless you want to trade. But obviously, if you want to trade, you yourself also have to have something valuable in your inventory, so you're still probably gonna have to macro even if you want to trade to get all your stickers. And all of these updates that revolved around macroing just completely ruined the game and made it an absolute slog to get through. So by this logic, this new Blooms update should be an absolute fucking blessing, right? I mean, you know, Onnit made it so that you don't have to macro Polar Bear quests anymore, and instead you have to collect petals, right? That sounds absolutely great. That sounds awesome, right? That discourages players from just macroing those quests and encourages them to actually play the game. And that all sounds great in paper until you think about it for about 2 seconds. Because in reality, all this does is just ruin the game even further. Because the biggest problem with this update isn't even the fact that I can't macro my fucking Polar Bear quests anymore. It isn't even the fact that the Polar Bear quests are 10 times harder and even more designed to be macroed than they already were. It's none of that. It's about the fact that this update, all it did essentially was just make the gap between the new players and the veterans even larger than it already was. Because now, all the veterans of the game, all the pro players, everyone who's been playing the game for like fucking 10 years, they're gonna already have like fucking 15,000 polar power, and their bees are never gonna go to fucking sleep, right? And polar power is actually really, really important, Some people, such as myself, tend to underestimate it, but it's actually really, really, really important. If you don't have thousands upon thousands upon thousands of polar power, you're just simply not getting on the leaderboards. Like, it's as simple as that. If you don't have at least 10,000 polar power in your pocket, you're just not getting on the leaderboards. You're just not gonna play the game competitively, and that's the end of the story. Like, you can fucking cry about it if you want, but that's just how the game is. And now, because of this update, all the veteran players who already have 50 trillion fucking polar power are just gonna stay on the top of the leaderboards. And all the new players that just started playing the game, maybe they played the game for only a year, maybe they haven't focused on polar power that much, all these players are gonna be completely left in the dust, and they're never gonna be able to play Bee Swarm Simulator competitively. They can try for a million years, they can grind for a million more years, and they're just never going to be able to play the game competitively because of this update. And that right there is the root problem with all of macroing. It's the fact that once you accept macros in your game, like what Onnit did, where he doesn't care about them and he pretty much allows them to run rampant in the game. Once you accept macros as a core part of your game, there is simply no turning back. Because let's say that Onnit wakes up tomorrow and takes the most drastic nuclear measure out there, right? And he just straight up bans all macros, and you can't macro in the game anymore. And if you're caught macroing, you just straight up get permanently banned as soon as you're caught, right? Let's say he takes the most nuclear measure out there. Well, if he does that, I think people would be happy for about a day before they realize that now they're completely fucking screwed. Because now, if Onnit does that, for example, if he bans all macros, now all of the players in the past that have macroed for years and years and years and years on ends will always be on the top. While all the new players who might just be barely getting into macroing or who have never macroed before will never, ever, 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 ever in a trillion years get the chance to catch up with all the pros who already have infinitely more resources at their disposal than the noob, who already have infinitely more badges and hours and better hives and better loadouts and better everything than the noobs do, right? Now, the pros, if something like that happens in Bee Swarm Simulator, all the pros will stay at the top, and all the noobs will stay at the bottom, and nothing will ever change. And that's really my problem with the game, because all these pros, all these people that have been playing Bee Swarm Simulator for years and years and years on end, have an ungodly amount of resources, right? They have so many resources that you couldn't even dream of getting if you were completely, I suppose, quote-unquote, free-to-play player that doesn't use macros, that, doesn't, go AFK or anything like that. If you're one of those types of players, then you would pretty much permanently be cucked from ever competitively playing the game, or actually getting, on the top of the leaderboards at any point in your life, if Onnit was actually to permanently ban macros and whatnot. Because you would be so far behind all these other players that have been macroing and that have used macros that you would just simply never be able to catch up. Even if you spend every single waking moment of your life playing the game and getting your resources up and fucking Vic hopping and doing whatever the fuck else is necessary to progress in the game. If you spend every single one of your waking hours doing that and grinding this B game, you would not even get close to achieving what all these people who have macroed before you have achieved in way less time than what you have invested into the game. And it's just a sad situation overall, because what is Onnit gonna do? If he hypothetically, in some dystopian world out there, if he bans macros, right? What is he gonna do? Is he gonna ban all the players that have macroed before, that have used macros in the past, back when they were legal? Because if he does that, then that's just straight up fucking 1984 thought crime levels of law enforcement, right? I mean, it's just a really an unsalvageable situation. I really don't see how on it could possibly like make this game not rely on macros as much. Because again, he's allowed them for so many years that if he just simply just decides to not allow them anymore, then pretty much everybody who's not already an expert at the game would be left in the dust. And that's really my main issue with this whole fucking polar bear bloom shaker fucking update or whatever you want to call it that Onnit has pushed out recently, where he just pretty much capped every single new player when it comes to getting like insane amounts of polar power and actually being able to play the game competitively. And it just sucks, man. Like I genuinely don't think that there is an actual way that Onnit could like take this shit back, you know, put the brakes on this fucking on this fucking train wreck, right? I don't think there's a single way that he could put the brakes on this train wreck and like reverse his decisions and like, you know, make the game not as dependent on macros as it is right now. Again, I just think it's I just think we reached the point of no return, right? It's either we can macro in the game or the game doesn't exist at all. Those are pretty much the two only options here. But I yapped about this long enough, fellas. Pretty much the whole reason why I made this video is just to point out how stupid and dumb and ridiculous all those people who are like celebrating this change to Polar Bear and Riley B and Baku B quests sound. Right? Because celebrating this change where Polar Bear and all these repeatable quests are not macroable anymore is just really dumb in my opinion. Like, that's really the best way to phrase it. It's just really dumb to celebrate a thing like this. And I hope I made a point and explained decently well why I think that that's the case. But I don't know, fellas. Tell me what you think down in the comments below. Tell me if you think that this game can be salvaged somehow. Because I truly do not think it can be. But, yeah, that's all I have to say for this video. See you later, everyone, and goodbye.